All right, today we're jumping into a language that really marches to the beat of its own drum. Get ready for a crash course in Finnish.
You know how you can sometimes feel that a lot of European languages sound kind of similar? Well, you are in for a real treat. Finnish is from a totally different language family, which gives it this unique structure and logic that's honestly incredibly rewarding to unpack. So to make this all stick, we're going to approach this like a virtual trip to Finland. We'll learn the words and phrases you'd actually encounter, putting every concept into a real-world context so it all makes sense. So the very first thing you'll probably notice about Finnish is that it loves building words. Now, that might seem a little intimidating at first, but trust me, it follows a beautifully logical pattern. Here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. You start with kirche, the word for letter. Then you add vaihto, which is exchange. Snap them together and you get kirjanvaihto, letter exchange or correspondence. It's like linguistic Legos. Okay, our virtual plane has just touched down in Helsinki. Let's get you equipped with some essential phrases for your first day on the ground. You've officially arrived. And in its most basic dictionary form, the verb for to arrive is saapua. You can think of this as your starting point, your root word. But if you look at a sign at the airport directing passengers, you're not going to see that. You'd see it in the command form, saavu. It's a tiny little tweak that turns a general concept into a direct instruction, arrive. Now, let's say you're talking about when something happened. You might hear, hän saapui puoli yksi destä. This means he arrived at 10:30. But here's the cool part. The literal translation is 11:30. This shows a totally different way of thinking about time, looking forward to the next hour instead of back at the last one. So, you step outside the airport, you take a look up. The sky, or taivas, seems like a pretty simple noun. But how do you describe it? Well, in Finnish, you'd say taivas on pilvessä, which translates to the sky is in a cloud. And this is a fantastic example of how the language uses really concrete, location-based grammar for abstract ideas. The sky isn't just cloudy, it's physically inside a cloud. Okay, you've made it to a cafe, and right here, while just ordering a drink, we are going to run into one of the most fundamental concepts in all of Finnish grammar. Take a look at these phrases. You've got, I want cold water, don't you like beer, or is there time? Now really pay attention to the endings on those nouns. Vettä, oluesta, and aikaa. You see that pattern? Those endings are not random at all. They're a huge clue to a grammatical rule that is absolutely central to speaking Finnish. So what's going on here? This, my friends, is the partitive case. The easiest way to think about it is just to call it the sum of rule. I mean, when you ask for water, you don't want all the water in existence, right? You want some water. When you ask if there's time, you mean some time, an indefinite amount. The partitive case is just how you mark that partial, unquantified amount. You can see this transformation super clearly. The base word for water, vesi, becomes vettä when you're just asking for some. Olut, which is beer, becomes oluesta. And it's not just for stuff you can pour, it's also used for ongoing actions. So if you're warning someone about a dog, varokoira, the action of warning is kind of in progress. So the object, the dog, takes that special partitive form. All right, you've got your drink, you have a handle on the sum of rule. Now it's time to meet some locals. Hänen nimensä on Jimenez just means his name is Jimenez. Straightforward enough. And to ask where someone is from, you'd say, mistä herra Gomez on kotoisin? Now that key word there, kotoisin, specifically implies their origin or hometown, which adds a really nice layer of depth to the question. Now here is a perfect example of Finnish efficiency, the verb soittaa. This one little word covers two completely different modern actions, to call someone on the phone and to play a musical instrument. So for example, Ruva soittaa minulle means the lady calls me. But hän soittaa kitaraa means he plays the guitar. The meaning is determined completely by the context. It's one verb for two very different jobs. Okay, to wrap up our virtual trip, let's learn a few quirky little phrases that really capture the unique personality of the Finnish language. Here are a few great ones. Heti means immediately, right away.
Sattuu is the perfect thing to yell when you stub your toe. It means it hurts. And maybe the best one is mikapa, which literally means what ahead. It's what you'd say when you forget something totally obvious. You know, the elegance of a single verb like soittaa, doing double duty, really makes you wonder, what other clever shortcuts are hiding in plain sight in languages all around the world? It's a great reminder that every language evolves its own unique form of genius.